All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one today. I'm going to be talking about 5 young players that I feel like are having either really good seasons or really good stretches right now that I have personally really been impressed with and enjoyed, and I want to talk about here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. We're very, very close to 900 subscribers. We're right there, so hitting subscribe and doing all that would be really appreciated. Links to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right to it. The first player we're starting to talk about today is Max Christie. Max Christie has been a topic over the last couple of days. Of course, he was involved in the big Luka AD trade sent from the Lakers to the Mavericks. And so far, he's probably been the biggest winner and the best player so far in this trade. Max Christie having a really good season so far. I mean, it's 46 games with the Lakers, even before the trade. Even with the Lakers, he was kind of breaking out a little bit, averaging 8.5 points, shooting 36% from three, becoming a starter. He started in 25 out of 46 games he played in for the Lakers, becoming a really good two-way player. And so far as it's coming to Dallas, he's been even better. So far in 8 games with Dallas, he's averaging 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. He's shooting 50% for the field, 43% from 3. He had scored 15 or more points in every game except for last night when they got blown out by the Warriors. He only scored 2 points in yesterday's game. But he has been so good for the Mavericks, a big bright spot for them. And this little stretch run from we're seeing from him in Dallas kind of makes you think, what is his ceiling? I mean, he's still super young. He just turned 22 years old. Like, literally just turned 22 years old this month. So he's still super, super young. We're already seeing the development of him not only being a three-point shooter and being a consistent defender, but now we're seeing him kind of put the ball on the floor a little bit more, which has been the biggest intriguing thing. He's been putting the ball on the floor a lot more. Out of his 10.5 attempts, only 5 of them are 3, so that means he's taking 5 more other shots, which are field mid-ranges. You know, he's not been afraid to be able to create for himself in the mid-range, get to the bucket a little bit, even passing the ball has been pretty solid for him. So you're kind of thinking, like, dang, what really is his ceiling? I mean, at 22 years old, you can't really put a ceiling on anybody. You know, you never know who's going to pop off and what can happen in certain circumstances. And this could be a good circumstance where now he's in Dallas, where he's going to have a lot more opportunity next to Kyrie, AD. You know, instead of being kind of like a 3-and-D on the Lakers behind LeBron and behind all these guys, he can play in Dallas, where now he's got a little bit more confidence and being more comfortable. You know, he had that story the other day about he beat Kyrie to workout and to practice and all this stuff. So you can tell he definitely wants it. And you can tell he's been playing really, really good. And like these last couple games just got everyone thinking, like, dang, what is Max Christie's like ceiling? What is his potential actually like? Is he gonna be more than just like a 3-and-D kind of a young 3-and-D kind of wing? Can he be a little bit more? Can he be a 15 to 20 point per game scorer in the league? Can he be an all-star level player? Like, what really is the ceiling for Max Christie? You know, but of course we got to worry about that when we get to it. But right now he's just playing amazing basketball. He's playing the best he's ever played, and I'm just very excited to see how he fits in with Dallas. I feel like it could be a really okay. They'll never get a Luka Doncic. You know, they'll never get anything even close to what Luka Doncic brought to the team. But if they can get Max Christie to be a really, really good player and be kind of maybe even like a building block of the future for this team, I think that could be a pretty okay consolidation prize. So Max Christie, he's been hooping. Next player I want to talk about is Toumani Camara out in Portland. Toumani has been very, very good. You know, a lot of the casual fans, all that stuff, don't really watch Portland. They're not really paying attention to Portland, even though they're playing pretty well recently. And, you know, they're not going to make the play or anything like that. And he's not a big, crazy name. But Toumani Camara has been one of the better young players in the league. He's not super crazy young. I mean, he's 24 years old in his second year, but still a young player that's been very exciting to watch, and it looks like he's going to be a very good NBA player. So far this year, he's given you 10.5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.5 steals. He's shooting 37% from 3. He's started in every game he's played so far this season. And yeah, just a really, really good basketball player at the end of the day. You know, he brings a lot on the defensive end. That's where he makes a lot of his name. One of the best perimeter defenders in general, not even just young perimeter defenders, one of the best perimeter defenders, period, in the league. Just brings a lot of toughness, grittiness, peskiness, you know, trying to throw you off your game, trying to do little things to get you, you know, kind of thrown off. He does that. I even saw that last year. He did that a lot. And then the offensive end, he's just a connecting piece. You know, he's not someone that's going to be like a main ball handler or anything like that, but he's a guy that He's going to be a connecting piece in terms of he's an okay 3-point shooter. You know, still can get work, but he's not a horrible 3-point shooter. Can handle the ball a little bit if you need him to. Makes the right passes. Not going to be a leading playmaker, but he can make the right pass when he needs to make the right pass, get to the right spot when he needs to, and get you like 13, 14, 15 easy points just off, cutting, hitting threes, and doing stuff like that. And then bring what he does on the defensive end. He's a really, really good player, a very intriguing player for the Blazers. I mean, you think about him, he was a 52nd overall. No one really knew who he was out of Dayton. I mean, I didn't really know. No one really knew who he was. He was a 52nd pick. He was a throw-in the Damian Lillard trade. That's how Portland got him. The Suns drafted him. And he was a throw-in, a salary filler, basically, in the Damian Lillard trade, what Portland got. And now you look at it and you're like, dang, like, we got this? Like, the Suns probably are like, dang, we need a player like Toumani Camara right now. He's just a very good basketball player overall at the end of the day. Has some really good stat lines, really good game. I mean, the game where Portland just beat Charlotte by 53, he was a plus 45 in that game, give you 20, 10, and 6, hit 4 threes. He has those games where he has double-doubles, games with 2 steals and 2 blocks, games with 5 assists, 6 assists. Like, he just does so many different things in the basketball court. Just a high IQ player that does so many different things, and you're like, dang, he's one of those players that's tough to take out. And he's also one of those guys that I feel like Portland Trailblazers fans love Toumani. Like, when I do see Portland Blazers fans on the timeline and stuff, they love Toumani Camara. He's just one of those fan favorite guys that you love because he does so many different things for your team. You feel like he's just that guy that's like, yeah, this is our player. This is our guy, Toumani Camara. So yeah, he's gonna have a long career in the league. You can see it. You can see the game that he has and all the things he's doing already. Like, you could definitely tell he's gonna be a long time player in this league, gonna have probably a 10+ year career. And for a 52nd overall pick that no one really knew, that's amazing. That is amazing. I cannot wait to see him grow with the Blazers. That's kind of a building block in terms of you're gonna build around Toumani Camara, but a building block in terms of we're not letting this guy go, because when we start getting good in another year or two, he's gonna be one of those players that we definitely need. So Toumani, he's very good. Next guy I want to talk about, Santi Aldama out in Memphis with the Grizzlies. Talked about it a little bit. I think he made my role player all-star team. I want to say I think him and I think Toumani Camara made it too. But he is really, really, like, impressive to me. He was the 30th overall pick years ago. And every year he's just got a little bit more on his plate, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. This year he's not starting as much. Last year he started 35 games. This year he's only starting 11 games. This year he's more of a bench piece. But he just has a really nice game to me. I mean, he's having a career year. He's giving you over 12 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He's shooting 38% from 3. Just really good. He's 24 years old still. And he's up for free agency after the season. And I'm very interested to see where he ends up going. Whether he stays in Memphis or if another team sees what I see and sees what other people see and pay him. He's 6'11", a dang near 7-footer, but doesn't play or move like that. He moves like a 3. Kind of just like a guy that's going to shoot the 3 ball, very confident shooting the 3 ball, can put the ball on the floor, get to the bucket a little bit, rebounds pretty solidly. And just, he plays he's like a 6'7" wing and a 6'11" body, it feels like, which makes things even better that you could put him in a position to put the 4. I don't know about him as a center, but as a 4, and the way he could just move laterally, the way he can, shoot the ball, the way he's comfortable having the ball in his hand, and the way he's developed over the years in Memphis, where when he was drafted, I didn't really know who he was. I was like, I don't know who this dude really is. And every year he's just getting more and more playing time, more and more of a bigger opportunity. Last year when Jaren missed the first half of the year, last year he was starting at the 4, and it just didn't really matter. Or was that 2 years? I want to say, actually, no, that was 2 years ago. Last year, he missed some time, but he was still playing really well as a starter. And now this year, even though he's not starting as much, he's still making an impact coming off the bench and being one of the better 6 men in the league. And I'm very interested to see what his contract situation is going to look like after the year, because he's going to enter free agency, and interested to see, will Memphis pay him enough money, especially when them having to pay Jaren Jackson Jr. and then maybe going out and getting another guy. Where does Santi fit in all this? But at the end of the day, wherever he goes, he's going to be a really, really good player, and I just love the way he plays the game. Next guy we're talking about is Ausar Thompson. We already know how amazing Amen is. Amen is going to be a future star in this league. We already know how amazing he is. But do not forget about Ausar Thompson, because Ausar Thompson is going to be pretty good as well. When he was drafted last year, at the start of his rookie year, he probably had like the best start to a rookie year out of everyone in that class, besides maybe Wemby or something. But he started off really, really good. Then he kind of trickled off near the end, and then he had dealt with some blood clot that ended his rookie year early, and also he missed the start of this season. But so far, since he's been back, he's been pretty solid for a really good Detroit team. On the entirety of the year, he's giving you 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. He's shooting 55% from the field. Not insane numbers, but just, numbers that, you could tell he's a stat sheet stuffer. But since being put into the starting lineup by Detroit, he's played in 20 games so far as a starter. Oh, I'm sorry, 21 games as a full-time starter. He's give you 11, 5, and 2 with 2 steals on 59% shooting. You know, and again, not insane numbers. Like it's not like he's averaging 19 and 10 or anything like that. But just you look at what he does on the court, and you're like, oh yeah, he's gonna be really good. Kind of very similar to what a man has. I mean, elite athleticism. He rebounds the ball pretty well. He has games where he has 3, 4, 5 offensive rebound games. Only has what I think one double double on the year so far. But eventually as time goes on, he's gonna get more of those. He's not playing crazy minutes as well. He's only playing about like 22 to 27 minutes per game. So it's not like he's hitting 37 minutes, yet. But that's gonna come eventually. But also on the defensive end, he guards the other team's best perimeter player, and he does a pretty solid job in that. He has good length and all that stuff. And then the offensive end, I mean, just being a guy that doesn't take a lot of threes. He hasn't taken a. He actually has gone 10 games in a row without taking a 3-pointer currently. But just knows he can get to the basket. He's gonna feed off of Cade Cunningham, off of cuts and all that stuff. And you can just tell he's gonna have a really good game overall in the future. A man obviously has broken out earlier as being more of a ball handler and more of a guy that can do so many things. But Asar can do that too. I don't think Asar maybe is like the ball handler and the point guard that Amen will be. I don't think he'll ever get the chance to as long as he's playing next to Cade Cunningham. But just being a guy that can do so many different things to be versatile is so, so good. And I feel like he just brings a lot of energy to Detroit as well. Like he brings a lot of the energy, and he's always out there diving for a loose ball or going for a chase down block or hustling and just going back. And that just inspires the rest of the team. And he's been a big reason why Detroit has been so good as of recently. They're currently on a 6-game win streak, and Asar has been a great part of that. I mean, over this 6-game win streak, he's giving you 14, 5, and 4 with 2 steals on 70% shooting from the field. I mean, he's scored double figures in, out of these last 9 of the last 11 games, he's had double-digit points. He had 10, 3, an assist and a steal, 12, 7 and 3, 13, 4 and 4 with 3 steals, 12, 8 and 3 with 3 steals, 14, 8 and 6 with a steal, 16, 8 and 4 with 2 steals. He had a game in Chicago, 16, 3 and 4, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and only missed 1 shot. 19, 5 and 7, and 8 for 10 shooting. Last again Atlanta, he had 14, 2 and 2 with 3 steals, and only missed 1 shot. He had 3 games in a row in a 3-game stretch where he had a plus minus or plus 20. Like just doing all the little things. I think that really helps the Detroit Pistons. They haven't had players like Asar that just do all the different things, especially with the athleticism he has and kind of like the ceiling that he has. He's going to be very good as well. So I just want to say, do not forget about Asar either. Even though Amen is popping off and Amen is looking amazing right now, everybody loves Amen. Do not forget that Asar is going to be pretty good in this league too. And the last guy I want to talk about is Onyeka Okongwu out of Atlanta. Okongwu has been having a career season so far. Playing the most amount of minutes he's ever had, and also has become the full-time starter. He's taken the starting job away from Clint Capella. He had a really hot start to the year, then kind of filtered out a little bit in the middle, but then he's picked it back up, and now again he's a starter for Atlanta, which is what the Hawks I feel like have been wanting for the last couple of years. You've seen he's had moments so far in his career where he's had stretches and some games where you're like, oh dang, we can see the future, but he just hasn't really put it all together yet. Combine that also with he's had injury problems. He's only played in over 60 games only once in his career. That was 2 years ago, 2023. He played 80 games. Last year, he only played in 55 games, So he's had injury problems and stuff that's kind of just been holding back a little bit. And Clint Capella is always just all reliable, and you trust that over a young player. But so far this year, he's taken that over, and he's been pretty good. Average a career year, give you 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. He's shooting 57% from the field. He's almost got a career high in starts. He's started 16 games so far this year. He has started in the last 16 games since, end of January. He's taken over the starting job with Atlanta, and so far since becoming a starter, he's given you almost 14, 9, and 3 with a steal on 61% shooting. He's had games with crazy rebounding numbers. He had a game against San Antonio earlier this month. We had 30, 12, and 5, and hit 3 threes on 13 for 16 shooting. That was an elite game. He's had, even before starter, he had a game against Phoenix where he had 20-20 game. He had 28 on opening night against Brooklyn, and that really was like, oh shoot, here comes Onyeka Okongwu. You still would like to see him take a little bit more strides in terms of maybe the I mean, you think about him on the defensive end, he's still solid, but he is a small center. He was only 6'8". So he's a smaller center. So he's never gonna be like a insane shot blocker or anything like that. You'd like to see him maybe get better a little bit on the interior and the rim protecting and stuff like that. And he still has a lot of work to grow on the offensive end. But he's still only 20. He just turned 24 years old this year. He just turned 24. Actually last year, 2024. He just turned 24 in December. So he's newly 24. So you're gonna have a lot of time to work with him. And if you give him, and it looks like the Hawks are going like on a younger kind of route with Jalen Johnson, Zachary Versace, Dyson Daniels, trading away Bogdanovich, trading away some of the guys. They wanted to trade Clint Capella, but apparently I guess they didn't trade Clint Capella. He's probably just gonna leave. They want to go the younger route, so they're gonna let Onyeka Okongwu kind of work and do his thing. I think he'd be a pretty good starting center. I mean, when you give the athleticism he has, being able to do kind of dribble handoffs and stuff, he's not a bad passer at all. Being versatile in the defensive end, where you can put him at the big position, he can guard a big man, also guard a little bit on the perimeter. He has good lateral quickness and stuff. He has shown maybe a little bit of 3-point shooting ability. He's only shooting 26%. He's taking the most. He's taking 1.5 attempts. He's shooting not great on him, but maybe he can develop a little bit of that. He has a mid-range jumper at least, and he's a pretty good rebounder despite being only 6'8". So like you see the potential. You can see the potential of him being a pretty solid starting big in the league. And so far he's kind of taking those jumps this season. And I'm interested to see how he ends this year and if he can become the actual starting center that the Hawks really need him to be. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications and all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.